Hello, my name is Trydar, and today I'm going to be showing you how to build a Roman Colosseum in Minecraft. Let's get started. So the first thing we will do is take a tour around the Colosseum itself. Let's start on the outside and take a look at the structure as a whole. As you can see, we have a paved courtyard down here with some trees around it, and also some decorative gladiator statues here on pedestals and columns that I will be showing you how to build along with the Colosseum. The Colosseum itself is arranged as a series of two tiers of colonnades stacked on top of each other. And we have some flags up here at the top on every other one of these poles. And at the top itself, we also have an awning that I have chosen to make out of netherwart. And in the middle of it is, of course, a large oculus, so it will provide shade, but also let in quite a lot of light. And let us now land, because we need to go in the Colosseum itself. And we do that through a number of these doors that are down here, of course, along the sides. And when we enter it, there are a series of circular corridors below the seats around here. There are also some diagonal entrances around here that can be used. In total, I think I have included about 8 entrances. And they are arranged at regular intervals around the seats of the stadium. And also down here, there are 2 entrances that can be used for the gladiators to come out onto the sandy floor here where they will fight. And in the middle, there is, of course, the Emperor's box up here. And since this is Minecraft, I have also chosen to add a nether portal below that as well, because I assume if you're going to be building this, you will probably want to have a nether portal hooked up to it, so I decided to go ahead and integrate that into the design. So I'm going to walk around these tunnels here and give you a good view of how they work and operate. As you can see, all of the entrances back here are hooked up to the circular passageways. And behind those, there are more staircases for yet more passageways, which will take you to the upper gallery of seats around here. So I'll walk around those and show you that these are here and fully accessible. And also, even beyond those, if you go up to the seats on the side here, there is 4 ladders that will take you up here to the upper tier of seats. These afford a really nice view of the floor down there of the arena. But all of the other seats, if we're sitting around here looking, they all provide very nice views of the arena floor. So you can see where all the action is taking place. The only seats that aren't very good up here are, of course, the ones behind the Emperor's box. But these seats would be reserved for his staff and his slaves that would attend to him. And of course, if you're a Roman slave, nobody really cares if you can see the arena floor or not, so that's why they have those seats. And up here, underneath our small colonnaded portico, just for decoration, we have the seats for the senators and also the throne for the emperor to sit on and view the arena himself. Of course, the seat is a little close to the edge here, but I had to do this because of not only the height of the podium that the seat is on, but also how close it is to the floor around here. So I put the seat in a place where you could actually use it and see what's going on down there, but you can push it back a couple of blocks back here, 2 more blocks if you would prefer to do that as well. So I think that covers the tour we have for the Colosseum slash Amphitheater, because it's not exactly the Colosseum, but it is a Colosseum, you could say. So with that described, let's go over here and take a look at the bill of materials you are going to need to construct this fine Roman edifice. So you will be needing 118,496 blocks of cobblestone. That's a lot. 17,696 blocks of diorite. Those are mostly for the columns and the circular features. 21,148 blocks of basalt. 3,128 blocks of andesite. 25,403 stone bricks, 1,850 chiseled stone bricks, 2,047 blocks of sand for the arena floor, 674 blocks of obsidian, 3,560 netherwort blocks for the canopy at the top there, 1,960 blocks of red nether brick, 536 cobblestone slabs, 734 stone brick slabs, 1,068 blackstone slabs, and 3,883 smooth stone slabs. These are for the seats of the arena. That's why there's so many of them. There are 9,251 cobblestone stairs, 11,536 stone brick stairs, 148 blocks of blackstone, 78 blackstone stairs, 195 cobblestone walls, 3,108 spruce fences, 2 blocks of netherrack, 4 blocks of glowstone, 368 oak wood planks, 336 spruce tree trunks, 1,852 oak tree trunks, 2,940 leaves, 189 colors of wool, various wool colors for the flags at the top, 1,184 torches, and 36 ladders. As you can see, it is quite a big and varied list of materials you will need for this. But once you have got all that constructed, we will now begin with the formal tutorial, which is to describe the building itself. Now, from this point on, the tutorial is formatted in 2-block slices, meaning that each slice I show you of the building is going to be 2 blocks taller than the previous slice, and we will be doing that in 2-block increments, block by block, all the way up until we get to the flagpoles up there at the top, and they stretch off in this direction over here. And I'm going to be showing you the entire building. But before I start, I will remark the vast majority of the building, except for some of the details that I will remark on, the building itself is designed sort of with 4-way symmetry, meaning that all the columns and the roof and everything, and even the seats pretty much, are a quadrant, meaning that, as you can see here, this quadrant here is a mirror of this quadrant here, and so on and so forth for the other 2 quadrants. So when you're planning this out to keep track of where you are, I would suggest that you build a cross straight through out of red wool here, or some block that will serve as a guideline to help you in constructing the building. And the foundation of the building itself is 135 by 135. It's a square, and it is going to be 75 blocks tall. And that is the full height and base of the structure. So the first thing you will want to do is mark out a square, 135 by 135, and edge it all the way around with cobblestone stairs, as you see done here. And in the middle of those, you then want to begin constructing in your pavement. Now, the pavement here is a design that I like to use. It is a flat design, of course, but it is meant to be a three-dimensional pattern. In other words, if you kind of stare at this for a moment over here, you will notice it is sort of making a pattern as though these are three-dimensional cubes. But if you stare at them long enough, you will see the gray part here is meant to be the top of the cube, and the white part and the dark andesite part over here is meant to be the sides of the cube, but the light is coming in from this direction over here. So that's why this side is brighter and this gray up here, and it's darker on the other side over there. Sort of like a play on light and shadows. Maybe you see the pattern, maybe you don't. It's easier to see from an oblique angle than it is from the top down. But it is a repeating pattern, and this right here is the pattern that you need to make. As you can see, it's a fairly simple pattern. We just have our cobble here in the middle, done like that. And on the sides here, the same repeating pattern, done like so. And then you just want to alternate the diorite and the andesite with each other. So with that described, here is the same pattern, but it is 4 segments of what I just showed you. And over here for the pavement, you will just want to pick a corner over here and start laying out your pattern in it. And lay it out according to the pattern that you see here inside of this quadrant. And once you've done that, the quadrant over here is going to be exactly the same. And the other 2 quadrants will be exactly the same as that was. So over here, we are also laying out the foundations for our monumental columns over here. As you can see, they go up quite a distance, and they have varied details at each level. But for the bottom level, you're just starting out very simple here with a square of stone bricks that's going to be, what is that, 7 by 7? So once you have done that, you can also start placing out over here what are going to be the bases for these pointy Roman cypress trees. And you're just putting those 2 blocks away from that over here and 2 blocks from the edge over here. And also over here, I am probably going to have to go around and count out the entire arc of the circle, which we should probably do right now, actually. We're going to count from here, which is 3 blocks from the edge that you put in your cobblestone stairs over here. So if you draw out that cross shape that I said for you to do, once you have done that, you then want to find your midpoint over here. And from the midpoint, and including the midpoint, you want to count out the blocks over here. And this is going to be, including this one, is going to be 1, 2, 3, 10 blocks there. Then you want to step back a block and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks. Then 4 blocks. Then 3. Then 3 again. 3 again. 2. Another 2. A third 2. And then a 1. And then a 2. And then a 2. And then a 1. And a 1. And then a 2. And then a 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, another 1 over here. Keep going until we get to another 2 over here. And how many 1s was this? This was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that is 7 of those over there. And at this point, you should be able to draw a diagonal out from this point over here, and it should hit the wall over here. And it does appear to do that. So I will give you a good top-down view of the pattern here. And just count out the numbers like I did for you. And from this diagonal, you then want to repeat the same sequence of numbers. So from that, you were counting out another 1. You count out 4 of those, and then a 2. 1, another 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, a third 2, then a 3, a 3, a third 3, then a 4, then a 5, and then again the number that we started with, and then you will carry that across. You should be building this out of cobblestone, not wool, by the way. But you will then carry that arc across and build one over here, a third one over here, and then a fourth one along here. And once you have done that, you then want to go along the outside of those, and on the outside of the ring that you have just built, and place cobblestone stairs, as you see done here, all along the outside edge of that, and all around the arena. Now, after you have done that, you can then place in the bases for your trees. And you can use the counts for the blocks that we made over here to see where these should be placed. So I will give you a good top-down view of these. As you can see, it's fairly easy. One of them is just right on the diagonal. And another one, it looks like it's right in the middle of the second 3 that we did over here. And here's the one over here in the middle of those. And once you have done that, the others are done in exactly the same design, quadrant by quadrant, all the way around the arena. So with all that complex explanation out of the way, we now want to know where to site the arena itself. And we are going to do that from, I think it's this point here, all the way to this point over here is going to be a distance of 42 blocks. And that will define the inner edge of the circle of obsidian that we're going to be building in the arena. And it is, of course, made out of obsidian because if you're fighting down there, you don't want to be breaking the blocks of the sides of the arena. So I have made it obsidian because it's also a high contrast color with sand, but mostly because it would be unbreakable. So that is why that is done. And once you have gotten to this part of the arena, we are now going to count out the arc of the circle of the inner part here for the arena floor. So from the center point, you want to go out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks. And then 3, another 3, a 1, a 2, a 1, a 2, 2 1s, a 2, a 1, and a 2, a 1, and a 3, another 3, and then a 5 over here, 6 including the center line block here, and then you will repeat that arc all the way around, over there, and over here as well. And I have also outlined it with a bit of basalt down here in the middle as a guide when I was making the reference model. Now, there's something else we should take a look at before we move on from phase 1. Over here, this is the lower part of what is going to be the side entrances. So you should decide which direction you want your Colosseum to face. And once you have done that, you then want to build your side entrances. This would correspond to the right side, and this would be the left side. Over here, you want to make another one of those with just a cobblestone slab and some walls. And over here, this is going to be the interior front of the arena. And this is, of course, as you can see, where the nether portal is coming across in the design. And you want to build that out according to the pattern that you see done here. And you want to set it back by about 5 blocks, and then you want to have some cobblestone stairs back here. Because I don't know if I showed it, but there is also another entranceway that's hidden behind the nether portal. So with that said, I think we have covered everything there is to talk about for phase 1. So let's move on to the second phase over here. It's going to be probably another long one. Let's start over here on the edges with the columns over here. And what you're doing at this phase, remember we're going up 2 more blocks at this phase. So you're putting in cobblestone, and then on top of that, stone brick stairs. Done according to the pattern that you see here, very simple. And here is the pattern for the bases of the trees. You're just putting in some stone brick stairs facing each other. And then you're putting in your tree trunks on top of those, and we're going to be extending those up and then adding in the leaves for the trees as we go up. Now, as we go, I'm only going to talk about like one of these trees, because all of the tree designs for the bases and the trees themselves are the exact same, as are the 4 columns on the side here. Once you build one of these, you will know how to build the other 3. So you know where all your bases are because we cited those in the last phase, so I'm not going to remark on that anymore. We should, however, go along here because we need to do the spacing for the bases of the columns and also the interior base of the arena itself. So I will give you a good top-down view of this here. Remember, you can always pause the video if you need to see things a little clearly, if things are going a little bit too fast. And also, I should have said this before now, this entire world that I'm showing you here will be available for download, so you can use it as a companion along with the video to help you reconstruct the Colosseum. So from over here, this is where your red center line will be going through the base. And as you can see, you want to extend this a little bit farther forward. And it will come to the inner staircase along here, and you can use the 1-2 pattern along with the torches and the fences in here as a guide to help you position the cobblestone stairs. As you can see from the column base here, it's just a niche and then a 2, a 1, a 2, and a 1 until you get back to this point here. And all of these 4 are exactly the same on the other sides around here. The first base of the columns that you're going to be constructing, as you can see, it's going to be from the ring of cobblestone that you constructed. It's going to be set 1 block back from that and 1 block over from the center line here. And it's just a cross of a 2x2 thing of a basalt and cobblestone. And from there, you then want to build another base of exactly the same design, 3 blocks apart, but 1 block farther back. And again, 3 block space, 1 block farther back, a 3 block space, now 2 blocks farther back. Over here, we can see, it's kind of hard to see, but there is another 3 block space here. But this one, I believe, is going to be, what is that, 4 blocks farther back than the last one. There is another 3 block space around here. And this one is also, it looks to be a full 4 blocks farther back than this one. And I think at this point over here, there is another small gap over here. And this one is, I think, a full 5 blocks farther back. And at this point, you hit the 45-degree diagonal. By the way, that should go right through the middle of this column base here, lined up with the side over there. And also extending that inwards, you are starting to build one of the corridors for the diagonal entranceways to the arena in here. And for the stairs along here, we're sort of just doing a jumble of full blocks and cobblestone slabs, as you see done here. And it's just cut out in a 45-degree angle over here. Because when you get complex patterns and you bend them at 45 degrees in Minecraft, you sort of lose a bit of detail and resolution. But we do our best to compensate for that when we can. Now, for this, you just want to continue that around. Just reverse everything we did again for another 1/8 of the circle and do that again. And once you have done the quadrant, you want to flip that and do another quadrant. And then do your other 2 quadrants according to the exact same design. Almost. There is a change over here in the side. Now, I'll describe first of all the setbacks for this. There are different setbacks on the sides over here for the side entrances to the arena floor. Remember I said there are 2 of these, so you're going to be building one of those over there and then another one over here. And you pretty much want to do it according to this pattern here. It's just a 3-block wide corridor. But on the sides here, once you get far enough back, you want to start putting in some cobblestone stairs, as you see done here. And you can use the numbering of the 1 and the 2 of the alternating corridor over here to help you properly cite that. Okay, once you have done that, well, wait. I forgot to talk about the inner ring of columns. Okay, we just described the outer ring of columns, but as you can see, over here you want to just 3 blocks setback. You then want to build the basis for the second set of columns back here. And these aren't exactly columns because they're mostly attached to the wall, which makes them pilasters instead of pillars. But that's sort of a detail we don't need to concern ourselves with at the moment here. But as you can see, directly behind this one here, 3 blocks, build another one. Same design, directly behind that one, 3 blocks, build another one. Another one here, another one here, except on the diagonal. That pattern holds true for all the columns on the sides over here going that way. But once we get over here, our interior circle is of a smaller circumference than the outer circle, which means we have to make do with 1 less column. And we do that by cheating a little over here. And from the diagonal that will be running through this way, just 1 block on either side of that, build out the columns that you see here, and you can use the basalt that's in the middle here to help you get the spacing of these correct. And this is the only tricky part with the interior columns. All right, so once those are done, you then want to continue that inner ring all the way around the interior side for another 1/8 of the circle, and then do that again all the way around the circle. Over here, I need to show you the details for the corridor underneath the Emperor's box. And here is the nether portal, as you can see behind here, and behind that, we have that corridor that I talked about. And you just want to build that up according to the pattern that you see here. The obsidian circle that you built, I kept the design the same, so it comes around here at the same design, but you just want to make a cutout on the flat space here and push it back 2 blocks and start building the bases of these columns that you see here. And then 3 blocks back from that is where you want to have your nether portal, as you see done here. So I think that that is everything that there is to talk about in this second phase. So we will move on to now a third phase. And for this, we will start over here at the corners. So you'll be relieved to hear this is an easy phase. You're just building up 2 blocks of diorite. I believe it is a 5x5. And just build that straight up. We're also putting in the lower parts of the trees here. After you put in your tree trunks, you then want to do a cross of leaves like that. And that's your trees done for this phase. Over here, we're building out the columns themselves. Now, you'll be relieved to know every one of these columns that you're going to be building in this Colosseum, and there's a lot of them, they're all the exact same design. Meaning that after you have built one, you will know how to build all the other ones. And for the bases, we're putting in some stone brick stairs, and then some upside down cobblestone stairs on all 4 sides, done according to the pattern that you see here. And of course, you're building those on top of the column bases that you did in the previous phase. So you want to go ahead and start building those. And I suppose I should remark, some of this in the middle here, you could probably leave hollow. But I haven't done that just because I tend to build everything solid. But it could save you some of the 100,000 or so materials list of cobblestone. I didn't exactly give you the numbering for this either, so I need to do that now. As you can see the pattern for this, down here is with the columns, you're building in a base layer of basalt. And on top of that, in keeping with the columns, cobblestone. Then stone bricks, then back to cobblestone. And you're doing this in an interior circle all the way around. So if we have our center line that's going through here, from the center of the center line to the edge over here, this is going to be 9 blocks. And then back from that, it is 5, then 4, then 3, then a 2, 2 again, 2 yet again, and then there's a 2 again, sort of, but it collides with the base of the pillar over here. So for this, you then sort of want to build a 1 and then a 2, and then a 1 and then a 2, and then a 1 and a 1 over here, and make this one out of basalt because this is going to be the diagonal entrance for the seating area, and that is 1/8 of the circle. So as you know by now, you want to build that 1/8 again over here and then build out the quadrants as you see done over there. So let's take a walk through the interior corridor. You're keeping the layering and the patterning of this the same, but you're building up the cobblestone stairs. Another 2 blocks along here for the front area along there. And the diagonals, you're building up the alternating cobblestone slabs and full blocks. As you see done here, it's sort of a bit of a jumble. But do your best to replicate the pattern. On the sides over here, we have these stairs that go up and down like so. And we have a small little arched covering that we're doing over here at these 2 blocks. And you're just putting in a level of cobblestone and then some upside down cobblestone stairs for a small arched passageway that's going to take you out to the arena floor. And of course, you build the exact same thing on the left side over here. Over here, you're continuing up the columns and the nether portal. And on the back end side over here, you're doing the exact same thing. So I'll give you a good top-down view of what we've got going on at this phase. I know it's been a little slow to get started, but when we start going up with the columns, it's going to go a little bit quicker. I mean, it is, after all, a colossal construction, so it's going to take a bit of time to describe. But let's move on to the next phase over here. Let's start down here again with the base course of the statues and columns, which are just getting out of render range, so we're not going to see that anymore. You're just going up another 2 blocks of diorite. And for the trees, you're going up according to this pattern here. I think I should build one of these out. We put that down at the last phase, and then on top of that, you're going to want to build, what is it? It's just a square, and then that there. And I think the design for this is actually going to be something like this here. Continuing up in a repeating pattern like that for the pointy Roman cypress trees. And you're, of course, going around and planting all of those in the tree trunks and planters that we already did in the last phase. Over here, for the columns, you are putting in some right side up cobblestone stairs on top of the upside downs that we did. And now we're beginning to build out the column drums of diorite, and they are 2x2 column drums, and they will be going straight up according to that pattern there for several more phases. Quite a few phases, actually. I think what we're going to be talking about on the next couple of phases is going to be the interior ring, which, I mean, that's going to take a bit to describe, so let's just get started. For the doorway entrance, it is framed out in basalt, as you see here, with a ledge of upside down stone brick stairs. And on the interior here, we're actually capping it off at this phase. We're putting in some blocks here, as you see done here. And we're also getting to the level, which we got at the last phase, which is down here. But these 2 blocks, which we're at now, this is going to be the interior ring of the lower level of the stadium seats. So for this, our red center line that I've been referencing is passing through here. So on either side of that, you should already have the outer ring counted properly, and you're just extending that up, and you're going to be doing that until we get to the ceiling over here. And as you can see, the patterning for this is once you get to a level of stone bricks, you almost always have a 2-block course of cobblestone laid on top of that, and then another 1-block course of stone bricks laid on top of that. And that is going to be pretty much a general rule all the way around the Colosseum, and pretty much in all my Roman builds, generally. On the diagonal entrance here, we have the basalt, and it's done according to this pattern here, with the stone brick stairs arranged over here. It doesn't really matter which way they're pointed. You could have them pointed this way or that way. Because it's a diagonal, this is one of these areas where we kind of have to fudge things a little. And the interior here is just a straight diagonal cutout with these stairs, as you see done here. All right, I think I should go along and describe probably the interior over here. So we have our red center line coming through here, and I'm going to give you the arc that goes through here. including the red center line. You want to count out 1, 2, 3, 8 blocks. Come in a block and count out, what is this? That looks like 6 blocks. And then we have over here one of the ascending passageways for the next level of seats. And you're doing that and edging it out with a bit of basalt on either side here. It's 2 blocks wide, so you want to skip 2 blocks, come over here and then come in a block, and then count in 3 blocks, then a 2, another 2, and then a 3 block diagonal, and 1 block back here of basalt. And this over here is where your diagonal is coming in from the sides over there, so it will intersect over here. So that is another 1/8 of the circle described for you. So let us describe the arc of the interior passageway over here. So from the center line over here, including the center line, we will count out 1, 7 blocks, and then 5 blocks, and then basalt. And then we want to leave a 4 block gap for the entranceway along here. And have a 1 block set back, and then count out 2 blocks, and then another 2 blocks. And then you're pretty much just doing another straight diagonal over here, which should intersect with your main diagonal that should be running. Oh, come on. Some days you just can't place blocks. That should be running along the side diagonal that you see done here. So that is another 1/8 of that described to you, giving you the floor plan of the interior passageway underneath the seats. That's a mouthful to say. So with that done, we can now go through and describe what is going to be the first course of the seats, which of course, this in my texture pack is smooth stone slabs, but you can make these out of whichever slab you prefer to use. I think we also do the interior of the arena that is finished at this level also. So as you can see down here, you're doing a 3 block course of obsidian, and on top of that, stone bricks, and then 2 blocks of diorite on top of that, and do that in a ring, unbroken, all the way around the interior. And on the sides here, this is what these interior doors look like, with slabs and upside down stairs. Over here, this is, you're continuing up everything pretty much for the podium of the Emperor's box, and build that out according to this pattern here. But let me go back over here and get back to describing the seats. So along the center line, passing through this area here, you're putting in some basalt. And then you're leaving a 2 block gap. And behind that, you're putting in a ring of basalt that's going to be going pretty much all the way around. So I should give you the measurement for that. So starting here, you're going to count out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks. Then count out 4 more blocks. And we want to have a thing of basalt coming through with a 2 and a 2 and a 2. Done like that there. And then over here as well, you want to mirror that, but set it a few blocks farther forward, like you see done here. And then from there, you want to have a 2 block thing, and then a 1, a 2, a 1, another 1, and then 1 more 1. And this 1 will be intersecting with the diagonal. So that is that 1/8 described. And as you can see behind that, I'll just give you a good top-down view. You're putting in the seats as you see done here with the slabs on top of those. And then once you get in the slabs, just fill in the back with stone bricks or cobble or whatever material you prefer to use as filler. And I think that was quite complicated, so I'll give you a good top-down view of the sides over here. And these sections over here, all done the same. Except over here, it's a little bit different behind the Emperor's box, because there's an archway for the nether portal underneath that, which goes up quite a ways taller than that does. So you'll want to leave space for that. And I should also zoom in a little bit because we're filling in these seats where the Emperor's box would be. Since we have to build a podium to support that, we want to have a 2-block thing of cobblestone stairs over here for the Emperor to get up to his box. And those are done on both sides exactly the same. So let me go up here and give you a good bird's eye top-down view of the entire phase. I know it's very complicated, but just take your time and do your best to recreate the patterns that you see on your screen. But according to my timer, we're going to have to break it off here, because once the videos get over a certain length, it becomes very difficult to produce and upload them. So I'm going to have to break this into several parts. I think this building is so big and complicated, we're probably going to need at least 3 parts to describe this. So for now, this is going to be part 1. I'm sure it's going to give you quite enough to do. But I'm really not sure how many parts it will take, but it will take as many parts as it needs to properly describe everything to you. But as I've said, that's going to wrap up part 1, so I hope you have enjoyed the tutorial so far. And thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.